Walmart, Costco, or Trader Joe's limiting how many eggs consumers can buy.
The egg prices have soared 15%.
The price of eggs has skyrocketed.
Dozen eggs now 50% more expensive than a year ago.
The $5.50 he charged for a dozen back in May became $7 in October, and now it's $8 a dozen.
So if there was a time for you to start preparing for the future when it comes to the prices of your food, now is the time. We are seeing a major increase in prices of all kinds of products across the board, but what I want to talk about today is specifically the price increases in eggs. So the price of eggs have actually been trending fairly horizontal until the early 2000s, which is when we started seeing an upward trend. And right now, the average price of eggs across the nation since 1980 to the end of 2024 is around $1.34 a dozen. And this also includes the big spikes in 2022 and also 2016. So for the commercially raised chickens, you're talking about those grade A eggs. We're looking at $4 to $6 a dozen. Now, folks, these are not your organic, GMO-free, pasture-raised eggs here. These are the commercially raised chickens. These are the chickens that are jam-packed, hundreds of thousands of birds in a single building, and they are commercially producing these eggs at a mass scale. And of course, if you're looking at the GMO-free, pasture-raised, organic eggs, you're going to be looking at $8 and up for a dozen of these eggs. I actually saw somebody on social media post a picture for a dozen of these eggs going for $14. How crazy is that? So what I did is dug in a little bit. I went and did my own research to find out exactly why the prices of eggs are going up exponentially. We're talking about double, triple, quadruple prices here. And honestly, we really need the facts so that we can help better prepare for the future. So the first reason why egg prices are going up so much is because there's more and more demand for eggs. More and more people are starting to consume eggs now that it's been disproven that cholesterol and saturated fats are a cause of heart attacks. It's been proven that sugar intake is actually the primary cause. And so now more and more people are consuming eggs because they're just a really healthy source of protein. So when you start seeing an increase in demand combined with a decrease in supply of eggs, then what you're going to get is an increase in prices. This is your basic economic supply and demand scenario. This is what drives the prices of consumer goods all across our country. So the next question you're probably asking yourself is, what is dropping the supply of eggs? Why are we seeing a reduction in the number of eggs available for purchase in the supermarkets today?
And this is as the growing bird flu outbreak spreads to more producers.
New concerns tonight about the bird flu. The virus now detected at a commercial poultry facility in Georgia.
Bird flu cases soaring once again in the U.S.
An apparent bird flu outbreak in the south suburbs has left thousands of chickens dead.
And the number one reason? H5N1. This is the highly pathogenic avian influenza strand that's going around in our cows, in our poultry, and it is nothing new to the chicken industry. We've been seeing diseases like this wipe out entire flocks, again, since basically the early 2000s, and you can see the chart for the price of eggs really show that effect starting around 2002. And in fact, in 2002, there was a pretty big, I believe it was H2N1, one of those other low pathogenic viruses go through, and many millions of birds had to be put down in that time frame as well. And so these diseases are nothing new. It's just that the price of eggs, the new demand, as well as the drop in supply that we're seeing recently is definitely having a greater effect because more and more people are consuming eggs and there's less eggs available to purchase. So in 2022 and 2023 combined, there are roughly 79 million egg-laying chickens that had to be put down due to H5N1. And then you look at the last quarter of 2024 alone, and it was like 24 million birds had to be put down. So that's a pretty dramatic decrease in supply. And then you combine that again with the increase in demand, and that is the driving factor behind these high prices in eggs. So as someone that's trying to be a little bit more self-sufficient, I'm in the emergency preparedness kind of long-haul survival kind of mindset these days. I really have to look at the reason behind these diseases. We're starting to see a major uptick in these diseases, and I'm kind of curious as to exactly what is going on. And what I have found is that because there's been an overall increase in demand over the years, that means we have to produce more eggs, which means we're going to jam more birds together. And the more birds that you have jam-packed in a single building, the quicker these diseases are going to spread. Now, H5N1 has been around for a while. It was first discovered in a flock of geese in 1999 in China, and of course we know geese fly all around the world, and so those geese made it over here and landed over here and infected our fields. They defecate in the fields, and then farmers go out, they spread manure, the tractors are driving in these fields, and then the disease is essentially brought in through the farmers and through equipment, and this is really a biosecurity issue. And then these disease gets into one bird, that one bird gets sick, and then when you have these birds jam-packed together in a big huge chicken house, then the disease just rampantly spreads like wildfire. So how do we prepare for future price increases when it comes to eggs? My answer is simple, folks. You gotta get your own chickens. Once you put in the infrastructure like your chicken coop and your fencing, the maintenance to kind of keep your chickens happy is very low. You're talking not even $4 and $5 for a dozen of your own eggs. You're looking at the $1 for a dozen type prices when you have your own eggs. And we're gonna do another video and get into the more specifics on costs of getting your own chickens and putting in your own chicken coop and things like that. But if you have your own chickens, you're going to secure your future, and you can just expand from there. You can get the number of chickens that you need for the number of eggs that you're going to need. It's really quite simple. The math is simple. You get one chicken, you can be almost guaranteed that you're going to get one egg a day for most of the year. Unless you live in a climate where there's a lot of snow on the ground, then things could be a little bit different. So if you want to prepare for the future price increase in eggs, you're going to want to look at chickens, folks. Chickens are definitely the way to go. Once you get the infrastructure in place, like your coop and your fencing, it's all smooth sailing from there, and you can just add to your flock as you need more chickens. They're pretty cheap, and a lot of times you can do it for free by getting pre-fertilized eggs from a friend and have one of your hens lay on those eggs, and the next thing you know, you're going to have more chicks and more hens that'll lay more eggs, and it really is kind of the gift that keeps on giving. So folks, if you want to battle the prices, get your own chickens.